You came here with dreams in your suitcase. You had seen the movies, right? Hollywood sign gleaming in the sunshine, perfect beaches stretching endlessly, celebrities on every corner, eternal summer weather, the American dream packaged in palm trees and Spanish architecture. Everyone told you, Los Angeles is where magic happens, where dreams come true, where you reinvent yourself. But wait until you feel what nobody tells you. Because there is a truth buried beneath the Instagram filters, beneath the influencer testimonials, beneath the smiles of those selling a dream that transforms into a nightmare. What you are about to discover in the next few minutes does not appear in any tourism guide. It is not in the expatriate forums that only talk about beaches and weather. It is on the streets. It is in the faces of those who lost everything. It is in the numbers governments prefer to hide. It is in what awaits you when reality knocks on the door of your recently rented apartment at Manhattan prices. This is the truth about moving to Los Angeles in 2025. And believe me when I tell you that the worst is not what you imagine. The promise was simple. The city of opportunities. Make it big or go home. Work in entertainment. Sunshine 300 days a year. Beach culture. Innovation everywhere. All of that exists. All of that is real. But there is something else that is also real and that nobody mentions until it is too late. Because when you land at LX with your suitcase full of ambition and your head full of Hollywood myths, the first thing you notice is that something does not add up. The prices you researched 6 months ago no longer exist. The apartment you saw online was rented 3 hours ago. The locals look at you differently. There is tension in the air. There are tents on the sidewalks. There are encampments under freeway overpasses. And you still do not understand why. Let me tell you something I discovered reviewing the most recent data. In 2025, Los Angeles is not simply a city with a housing crisis. It is the homeless capital of the developed world. More than 72,000 people experiencing homelessness countywide. That number is higher than the entire population of 15 California counties. If you filled Dodger Stadium with all the county's homeless people, you would have enough left over to fill Crypto.com arena downtown. Think about that for a moment. 72,000 human beings, 72,000 stories, 72 lives that somehow ended up on the street. And although the city celebrates a 4% decrease from last year, the reality is that there are still 23% more homeless people than before the pandemic. 23%. This is not progress. This is a managed catastrophe. Now imagine you arrive as a newcomer. You arrive with your money. You arrive seeking opportunities. You arrive thinking your salary will protect you, but the reality is different. Because homelessness in Los Angeles is not just about mental illness or addiction. That is the comfortable narrative, the one that allows people to look away. The real story is about housing affordability, about a catastrophic shortage of places to live, about prices that have quadrupled in 20 years while wages barely grew 25%, about a system designed to fail the majority while enriching a few. And your arrival with your higher purchasing power only makes things worse. Because yes, you are part of the problem, and it does not matter how good your intentions are. The median home price in Los Angeles County reached $912,000 in 2024. $912,000 for a median home. Not a mansion, not a luxury property, a regular family home. And it keeps climbing. If you want to buy that median-priced house, you would need an annual household income of about $221,000. That is more than twice the median California household income of $102,000. More than twice. So for the vast majority of people, home ownership is not difficult. It is impossible. It is a fantasy. It is something that happens to other people, not to you, not anymore. And renting is not much better. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles hovers between $2,300 and $2,800. For a studio, you are looking at $2,000 minimum. Two-bedroom units exceed $3,400. And these prices reflect a year-over-year increase of around 3 to 4% every year, without stopping, without mercy. But here is what really destroys you. The combination of impossible housing costs and stagnant wages creates what economists call a poverty trap. You work full-time, maybe 2 jobs, maybe more, and still you cannot afford basic housing. 64% of households in Los Angeles are renter-occupied. 64%. That means most people will never own. They will spend their entire lives paying someone else's mortgage, watching rents increase year after year, watching their purchasing power erode, watching the gap between their income and housing costs grow wider and wider, until one day, one unexpected expense, one medical bill, one car repair, one anything pushes them over the edge. And they join those 72,000 on the streets, because that is how it happens. It is not sudden. It is gradual. It is the slow erosion of stability until there is nothing left to hold on to. And while this unfolds, you arrive with your tech salary or your remote work income. You bid up apartments. You drive prices higher. You displace families who have lived in neighborhoods for generations. You contribute to a gentrification process that tears communities apart. And you do not even realize it, because you are just looking for a place to live. You are just trying to make it work. But your presence accelerates the crisis. Your dollars stretch further here than in San Francisco or New York, so you think you are getting a deal. But someone else is paying the price. Someone else is being pushed out. Someone else is losing their home. And the cycle continues, accelerates, spirals out of control. Let me tell you about the fires. Because in January of 2025, Los Angeles experienced one of the most catastrophic natural disasters in its history. Multiple wildfires erupted simultaneously. The Palisades Fire, the Eaton Fire, others. Driven by hurricane-force Santa Ana winds that reached 100 miles per hour. Low humidity, drought conditions, vegetation buildup, the perfect storm. And the fires raged. They killed at least 31 people officially, though some studies suggest the real death toll could be as high as 440. They forced more than 200,000 people to evacuate. They destroyed more than 18,000 homes and structures. They burned over 57,000 acres. The Palisades Fire alone destroyed 6,837 structures, making it the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history. Entire neighborhoods reduced to ash. Pacific Palisades, Altadena, Malibu, Topanga, gone. Simply gone. And here is what they do not tell you when you are planning your move to sunny California. This is the new normal. Climate change is not a future threat. It is a present reality. The fires will come again. The droughts will intensify. The heat waves will worsen. The infrastructure is not prepared. The water systems fail. Fire hydrants run dry during the critical moments. Insurance companies are pulling out of the state. Homeowners cannot get coverage. Or if they can, it costs more than their mortgage. The California FAIR Plan had approximately $6 billion of exposure in the area covered by the Palisades Fire. $6 billion in a single fire. The liabilities are staggering. The economic impact is catastrophic. And this will happen again. Next year, the year after, every year. Because this is what living in Los Angeles means now. Living with the constant threat of catastrophic loss. But maybe you think you will be careful. You will choose the right neighborhood. You will avoid the fire zones. You will be safe. Except there is no safe. Because while the wildfires grabbed headlines, there is another disaster unfolding in slow motion: crime. And here the story gets complicated, because the official narrative says crime is down. Homicides dropped 14% in 2024, shooting victims down 19%, property crimes declining. The mayor celebrates. The police department points to successes, and technically they are correct. The numbers improved from the pandemic spike. But let me give you context. Let me show you what the statistics hide. Los Angeles still has approximately 75,000 homeless people. And where there is concentrated poverty and desperation, there is crime. Not because homeless people are criminals, most are victims, but because the conditions create opportunities for predation. The encampments become targets, the vulnerable become more vulnerable, and the perception of safety collapses. Residents do not feel safer, even though official crime numbers dropped. Why? Because they see the reality. They see the tents multiplying. They see the open drug use. They see the mental health crises playing out on sidewalks. They see property crimes that never get reported. Because what is the point? Police will not come for a stolen package. They do not have resources. They are overwhelmed, understaffed, demoralized. So people stop reporting, and the statistics look better, but the reality does not change. The LAPD is desperately trying to hire more officers. Applications reached a 4-year high, but the city's broken bureaucratic system stands in the way. The hiring process is so convoluted, so inefficient, so dysfunctional that qualified applicants give up. They go work somewhere else, somewhere that actually wants them, somewhere that can process paperwork in less than a year. So Los Angeles remains understaffed, underprotected, vulnerable. And if you think your money will protect you, think again, because the crime does not discriminate by income. Your car will be broken into in Brentwood just as easily as in South LA, maybe more easily because thieves know what is inside. Your package will be stolen off your doorstep in Santa Monica just as quickly as anywhere else. Home invasions happen in the nicest neighborhoods. Organized theft rings target high-end stores. Nobody is exempt. Nobody is safe. The illusion of security that wealth provides exists only until it does not. Now, let me talk about something even more insidious: the traffic. The legendary Los Angeles traffic that people joke about, but nobody truly understands until they live it. Until they spend 3 hours a day commuting. Until they realize that distance in LA is not measured in miles, but in time. Until they understand that a 10-mile commute can take 90 minutes, every single day, twice a day, forever. The average Angeleno loses 100 hours per year sitting in traffic. 100 hours. That is more than 4 full days. 4 days of your life every year wasted sitting in a car, breathing pollution, going nowhere. And it is getting worse, not better. Because the city keeps growing. The population keeps increasing, but the infrastructure remains the same. The freeways were designed in the 1950s. They are obsolete, inadequate, overwhelmed. And public transportation? Do not make me laugh. Los Angeles has a metro system, technically, but it covers only a fraction of the sprawling city. The buses are unreliable. The trains do not go where you need to go. Everything is designed around cars. You need a car to survive. But having a car means paying for gas at California prices, highest in the nation. Paying for insurance at rates that make you weep. Paying for parking everywhere you go. And then paying with your time, with your sanity, with your health. Because sitting in traffic is not just frustrating, it is harmful. It raises blood pressure, increases stress hormones, contributes to obesity, damages mental health, ruins relationships, because you are always late, always stressed, always exhausted. And the pollution. Oh, the pollution. Los Angeles has some of the worst air quality in the United States. The combination of vehicle emissions, industrial activity, and geographic factors that trap smog in the basin creates a toxic soup. You breathe it every day. It enters your lungs, your bloodstream, your organs. It causes asthma, increases cancer risk, damages developing brains in children. And after the fires, it got worse, much worse. The smoke filled the basin for weeks. Particulate matter at hazardous levels. People wearing masks not for COVID, but for smoke. Schools closed. Outdoor activities canceled. Vulnerable populations hospitalized. This is your new reality. This is what living in Los Angeles means. Breathing poison. Daily. But maybe you are still undeterred. Maybe you think the lifestyle compensates. The beaches, the culture, the entertainment, the food. And yes, those things exist. They are real. They are wonderful. But let me tell you what accessing them actually costs, because nothing in Los Angeles is free. Want to go to the beach? Factor in gas for the drive, parking fees that can reach $30, and hours lost in traffic getting there and back. Want to see a show? Concert tickets start at hundreds of dollars. Theater tickets the same. Even a movie costs $20 now. Want to eat at those amazing restaurants you see on Instagram? Prepare to spend $50 to $100 per person, and that is for a decent meal. Fine dining costs double or triple. Want to enjoy the legendary LA nightlife? Cover charges, drink prices, Uber rides because you cannot drink and drive all add up to hundreds per night. So you stay home, you stream, you cook, you become isolated because everything costs too much and takes too long to reach, and the loneliness creeps in. Because Los Angeles, despite being the second largest city in America, is one of the loneliest places you can live. The geographic sprawl means your friends live an hour away, in good traffic, which never exists, so you see them rarely. Social connections atrophy, community disappears. Everyone is busy, everyone is hustling, everyone is trying to make it. And nobody has time for genuine connection. The superficiality becomes overwhelming, the fakeness, the constant networking, the transactional relationships, where everyone wants to know what you do before they decide if you are worth their time. And speaking of what you do, let me talk about the job market. Because yes, Los Angeles has opportunities in entertainment, in tech, in various industries, but the competition is brutal. For every job, there are hundreds of qualified applicants, thousands sometimes, because everyone moves here for the same reason, to make it, to succeed, to become somebody. So you are competing with the best and the brightest from everywhere. And unless you have connections, unless you know someone who knows someone, you are at a massive disadvantage. The city runs on nepotism and networks. Who you know matters infinitely more than what you know, and breaking in from the outside is nearly impossible. And even if you do find work, even if you land a decent job, the cost of living devours your income. Remember those salary numbers I mentioned? That $221,000 needed to afford a median home? Even if you make that, you are not comfortable. You are not secure. Because California has the highest state income tax in the nation, up to 13.3%. Sales tax in Los Angeles County is 9.5%. Property taxes seem lower at 0.71%, but applied to $900,000 homes, they add up fast. And every service costs more. Haircuts, dry cleaning, car repairs, medical care, everything carries the California premium. Healthcare deserves its own discussion because the system is broken. Insurance premiums are astronomical. An average silver tier plan costs $621 per month, and that is before deductibles, before copays, before the 1,000 things insurance does not cover. A simple doctor visit without insurance ranges from $150 to $300. Emergency room visits can bankrupt you. And despite paying all this money, access to care is limited. Wait times for specialists stretch months. Primary care doctors are not accepting new patients. The good doctors are concierge only, requiring annual fees on top of insurance. So you pay more and get less. And if you have a serious health issue, if you need ongoing treatment, if you require specialists, you discover quickly that the American healthcare system is designed to extract maximum profit while providing minimum care. But let us return to housing for a moment, because I have not fully conveyed the insanity of the rental market. Beyond the high base prices, there are other factors making it impossible. Rent control exists in some areas, which sounds good, right? Protection for tenants? Except it creates perverse incentives. Landlords who can raise rents do so aggressively to compensate for units where they cannot. New construction is exempt from rent control, so developers only build luxury units. The middle market disappears, and finding any available unit at any price becomes a full-time job. When a decent apartment hits the market, hundreds of people apply within hours. You need perfect credit, you need references, you need proof of income at 3 times the monthly rent. You need first month, last month, security deposit, sometimes more. That is $10,000 or more just to move in. And competition is so fierce that landlords can be impossibly picky. One late payment 5 years ago? Rejected. Not the ideal income ratio? Rejected. They do not like your face? Rejected. So people settle. They rent rooms instead of apartments. They live with roommates they found on Craigslist and pray they are not crazy. They commute from distant suburbs, adding hours to their daily travel time. They stay in situations that are unhealthy, unsafe, unsuitable because moving is too expensive and too difficult. They become trapped, and the stress accumulates. The financial pressure, the time pressure, the social pressure, the environmental pressure. It all compounds until you realize you are not living, you are surviving, barely. And for what? For the privilege of saying you live in Los Angeles? For access to beaches you never visit and opportunities that never materialize? And I have not even mentioned the earthquakes, the other natural disaster threat that hangs over every moment. Because Los Angeles sits on multiple fault lines. The big one is not a question of if, but when. Scientists say there is a 71% probability of a magnitude 7 or greater earthquake striking before 2050. That could be tomorrow. That could be next year. And when it comes, the destruction will be catastrophic. Buildings will collapse. Infrastructure will fail. Power, water, gas, all gone. Emergency services overwhelmed. Hospitals damaged. Supply chains disrupted. And recovery will take years, maybe decades. Are you prepared for that? Does your apartment building meet current seismic codes? Do you have emergency supplies? Do you have a plan? Most people do not. They push the thought away. They tell themselves it will not happen. It will not happen to them until it does. But maybe you think I am being too negative. Maybe you think I am exaggerating. Maybe you think the problems are not that bad. So let me give you one final reality check. The inequality. The visible, unavoidable, in-your-face, every single day inequality. Because Los Angeles is a city of extreme contrasts. On one block, multi-million-dollar mansions behind gates and walls. On the next block, homeless encampments with 50 tents. Bentleys and Maseratis parked next to shopping carts full of possessions. People spending $500 on dinner while others dig through trash for food. This juxtaposition is everywhere, constant, inescapable, and it reveals the fundamental truth about Los Angeles. It is not a city. It is a machine for converting human beings into profit for the few at the expense of the many. The entertainment industry exploits aspiring actors and writers and artists, paying poverty wages or nothing at all, dangling the possibility of success that almost never comes. The tech companies import talent, work them to burnout, then discard them. The service industry relies on undocumented workers who live in fear and work for less than minimum wage. The gig economy atomizes labor, destroying benefits and stability and leaving workers with no protection. And through it all, the wealthy get wealthier. Property values soar, benefiting those who already own. Investment returns compound for those with capital. The system is rigged, fundamentally, irreparably. And your presence as a newcomer with money does not fix it. You become part of it. You perpetuate it, whether you want to or not. So what am I telling you? That Los Angeles is hell? No, that is not it. Los Angeles has beauty, has culture, has diversity, has energy. All the things people say about it are true, but they are not the whole truth. The whole truth includes the 72,000 homeless, includes the 18,000 homes destroyed by fire, includes the 3-hour commutes and the toxic air and the impossible housing costs and the broken healthcare system and the earthquakes and the inequality and the loneliness and the superficiality and all the other things nobody mentions in the tourism brochures. The whole truth is that Los Angeles in 2025 is a city in crisis, a city failing most of its residents, a city where only those with substantial wealth can live comfortably. And even they are not safe, not really, because fires do not care about your net worth. Traffic jams do not respect your schedule. Pollution enters everyone's lungs equally. If you are still considering moving to Los Angeles after hearing all this, then I have to ask why. What is the appeal? Is it career opportunities? Those exist elsewhere with lower cost of living. Is it weather? Climate change is making it less pleasant and more dangerous. Is it lifestyle? You can only enjoy that lifestyle if you can afford it, and most people cannot. Is it dreams? Dreams of making it big in Hollywood? Those dreams have been sold to millions and delivered for almost none. The math does not work in your favor. The odds are terrible. And even if you beat the odds, even if you become one of the success stories, you will look around and see the devastation. See the people who did not make it. See the growing tent cities. See the smoke-filled skies. And you will ask yourself if it was worth it. Because here is the final truth about Los Angeles in 2025. It is not sustainable.
Not economically, not environmentally, not socially. Something has to give. The housing crisis will eventually collapse the economy or force mass exodus. The climate disasters will eventually make parts of the region unlivable. The inequality will eventually spark social unrest that the authorities cannot control. The question is not whether these things will happen, but when. And do you want to be here when they do? Do you want to invest your life and your money and your future in a place that is circling the drain? Because that is what you are doing if you move to Los Angeles now. You are buying into a failing system. You are betting that you will be one of the lucky ones who makes it out before the collapse. And maybe you will be. Maybe you will get lucky, but probably not. Probably you will join the millions of others struggling to survive in a city that does not care about you, that sees you only as another consumer, another economic unit, another person to extract value from until there is nothing left. So if you absolutely must move to Los Angeles, at least do it with your eyes open. Know what you are getting into. Plan for the worst. Save twice as much money as you think you need. Have an exit strategy. Do not fall for the mythology. Do not believe the hype. And please, please do not contribute to the displacement of vulnerable communities. Do not be another tech bro driving up rents. Do not be another influencer treating the city as your personal backdrop while ignoring the suffering around you. If you come, come with humility. Come with awareness. Come ready to contribute positively instead of extracting. Come prepared to engage with the reality, not the fantasy. And come knowing that you might fail, that you probably will fail, that most people do, and have a plan for what comes next. Because Los Angeles does not need more dreamers. It has plenty of those. What it needs is housing. What it needs is infrastructure. What it needs is climate resilience. What it needs is economic justice. What it needs is compassion. What it needs is systemic change. And one more person moving there, chasing a dream, does not provide any of that. It just adds to the problem, just creates more demand, just pushes prices higher, just displaces one more family, just contributes to the catastrophe. This is the truth about moving to Los Angeles in 2025. Raw, unfiltered, uncomfortable. The truth that real estate agents do not tell you, that relocation guides leave out, that influencers hide behind filtered photos and sponsored posts. This is what actually awaits you. Not palm trees and opportunities, but struggle and disappointment and the slow, grinding realization that you were sold a lie, that the dream was never real, that Los Angeles is not a place where dreams come true. It is a place where dreams go to die, where ambition becomes desperation, where hope becomes despair. And where, eventually, you realize you need to leave, you need to escape, you need to find somewhere else, somewhere more affordable, more livable, more humane, somewhere that actually offers a future instead of just taking your money and giving nothing back. So consider this your warning, your reality check, your moment of truth. Los Angeles in 2025 is not what you think it is, and moving there is not the adventure you imagine. It is a trap, an expensive, dangerous, soul-crushing trap that captures people and does not let go. And yes, some escape, some make it work, some even thrive, but they are the exceptions. They are the outliers.
They are the lucky few, and you are probably not one of them. Statistically, you are not. So why take the risk? Why gamble everything on such terrible odds? Find somewhere else. Choose differently. Live better, because you deserve better than what Los Angeles offers. Everyone does. And the sooner people realize that, the sooner they stop feeding this broken machine, maybe then things can change. Maybe then the city can heal. Maybe then it can become what it claims to be. But that will not happen if people keep coming, keep paying, keep accepting the unacceptable. It will only happen when enough people say no, when enough people refuse, when enough people demand better. And maybe you can be one of those people, the one who chooses wisely, who sees the truth, who walks away. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit a place is not right for you, is recognize a mistake before you make it, is choose yourself over a mythology that never served you anyway. Los Angeles is there, waiting, burning, drowning in inequality and homelessness and traffic and pollution and all the other crises it refuses to address. It will still be there tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now, and it will still have the same problems, probably worse ones. So do not rush. Do not leap. Do not make a decision you cannot unmake. Think carefully. Research thoroughly. Consider alternatives. And above all, remember that your life is yours. Your choices are yours. Your future is yours. Do not hand it over to a city that will take everything and give back almost nothing. You deserve better than that. Everyone does. And recognizing that fact is not giving up on dreams. It is being realistic about what dreams actually require, what they actually cost, and whether the price is worth paying. This has been the truth about moving to Los Angeles in 2025. Unvarnished, uncompromising, uncomfortable but necessary. Because someone needs to say it. Someone needs to tell you what really happens, what really awaits, what the reality looks like beneath the glossy surface. And now you know. Now you cannot claim ignorance. Now the choice is truly yours. Make it wisely.